Oops. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. I want to remind you that the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is not censored. What in the hell are you laughing at, Thirsty?
I'm mouthing everything you're saying.
Oh, I get it.
She's like mimicking like word for word exactly as you're doing it because you use the same thing every week. So
I could sense it. I could sense the mocking around me. I just didn't know which direction.
Mocking. I just have it down.
I was not part of it.
Thank you very much.
I have some friends that every time they go to Disney World and they get on the monorail, they repeat the phrase that comes across like
Por favor, manténganse alejados
exactly. So they.
I'm that guy.
Yeah, they know that phrase. So that's all she was doing. She's heard it enough times that she is lovingly repeating it.
If you ever get laryngitis, I've got you.
Thank you very much. Do y'all ever want to do it?
I do. I want to do it all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Were we still talking about the intro?
I knew that was coming.
I was like, okay.
There we go again. There's just nothing that can be said.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, sir, but your wife was making me laugh.
We must have an app.
We do have an app. Lift Heavy Run Long has an app, and for $3.99 a month, you can be on that app and be part of the Lift Heavy Run Long community. And with that, you will get 3 body weight exercises every week. You will get 4 barbell strength exercises and 4 WODs delivered to your calendar. And the programs are by Valerie Hunt of RunRx.fit, the greatest running coach on the history of the planet and one of the easiest people to work with. It's a hardworking woman. For $9.99 a month, you can have access to any and all of the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer. Everything from 5K programs to 100-mile programs to Spartan races to triathlons.
Anything and everything. If there's an event for it, we have a workout program to get you ready for it.
That's right.
Boom.
That's right. The goal of Lift Heavy Run Long is to bring fitness to as many people as possible, as inexpensively as possible. So if you or someone you know does not have $3.99 a month to spare and you think that fitness would enhance your life, please email me at wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com, and we would love for you to use the app free of charge.
Free.
I am sitting next to my very best friend.
It's really kind of in the vicinity of.
Sitting really close.
You're closer than me.
A couple of spaces over.
I'm hand-holding distance. We never get beyond hand-holding distance. It's like leash distance. Yeah, except for races where we get 5 or 7 miles away from each other.
I'm holding your hand in my heart.
When she's saving lives at work, are you under the
I go there.
thing?
He goes and hangs out in the medicine room.
I'm in the
He's the narcotic vault.
It's in the narcotics vault.
The narcotics vault. I couldn't think of what it was called. Sorry.
Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell, Jack and Tan.
That's all right.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
I know you are.
I'm getting more sleep.
You think that's what it is?
And I'm taking my vitamins again.
Oh, that'll do it. The sleep, I mean. I don't know about the vitamins, but.
Yeah.
I bought one of those weighted
Vitamins are
blankets. Yep.
She has a weighted blanket.
I've heard about
And
those.
I quit my caffeine. All caffeine gone.
But what I've heard
I had to let go of my coffee.
What I've heard about the weighted blankets is that it's kind of scary to some people. Like they get.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, I could see that. I mean, for some people, it is an anti-anxiety thing, though. The
Okay.
weight
Yeah, the weight actually
helps
calms
them.
them. Yeah.
Because that's what like a thunder, the dog like vests are. They're like slightly weighted, and they create a little bit of compression.
Oh, so
to
when
make
the
them
thunderstorm, they don't freak out.
Yeah, so they don't freak out. It creates that
Okay.
compression, and so that's what the weighted blanket does
Yeah.
for a human. Is it creates that compression of feeling
Right.
secure.
Yep. So I quit caffeine and weighted blanket all at once. So I'm sure it's both of them, but I'm actually going to sleep at night, not staring at the wall for 3 or 4 hours. Nice.
Nice.
But I'm on call now, so I've gotten called in the middle of the night. Both nights that I've done it. But
I noticed this morning at the gym you had the on-call phone.
Yep.
Wow.
you fir-
Go ahead.
When you first started at the gym, I used to hold her pager.
Yeah. Yeah.
She would come in and work out. Well, right before I started the clock, she was like, "Here, hold this," and I'd clip it on my belt.
Old school pager. Yeah. Now we got like a slide phone where you slide it up and can text.
That's called a feature phone.
Okay.
It's unbelievable what a crappy phone they give them for a hospital. Something
I
as
know, like all the
important as
doctors
that.
are carrying iPhones, so we like put in petitions. Like our pager literally dies every day. We have to put a AA battery back in it. Can we have a phone to carry? They're like, yeah. We're like all excited. And we open the box and we're like, what the hell? And it's like this little Nokia
Well, you wouldn't want to carry 2 iPhones.
slide, whatever.
Would you?
Why?
I don't know.
I think it'd be easier to use because sometimes the house supervisor texts and it's like, dee, 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 dee. You can either hit 4444 222 111, or you can slide up and then like punch it like a keyboard. So I just usually get my home phone or my cell phone and text them back. I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand why the hospital did that. I feel kind of cheated. I'm a doctor too.
One day I think we'll have a phone that has multiple numbers. Like you'll have a device where if you go to work, they could just port like your work number onto your.
Already a thing.
They do
Is
it
it really?
because Katie's in Cath Lab and they get paged from like a main system in the hospital. When we have a STEMI come in, they all get paged on their cell phones.
I have
There
a
you go.
Yeah.
cell phone number that rings to my phone. I have a Google Voice number that used to be my business line that rings to my phone. And then there's a voice over IP app that's on my phone. So when my office phone rings, my actual
There you
Oh,
go.
that's
office
cool.
phone rings,
That's the way
it
to do it
rings
right
on
there.
my phone.
Yeah.
So like
I think that's the
my
way.
phone is all my is all my numbers.
Right. Nobody should have to carry another device.
Yeah, they need to do that. Get rid of that on-call phone.
I want to introduce the Reverend
Oh well, I think you did.
Vaughn Rawls.
Here I am.
How are you?
Man, I'm good.
I'm not right in the head until I get around.
I
Sorry.
know.
Yeah.
He's got a process.
There is
I
that.
love it. I love it. I love the check-in with everybody every single episode.
What's new with you?
I'm having a fantastic year, man.
It seems like
Like
it.
it's really odd how you can have like a really shitty year and then have like a really fantastic one and don't really do anything different. But I just keep having all these.
Dude, your
And-
mentality's changed. Your focus has changed.
I
and
think
your
that's-
mentality's
that's
changed,
part-
and that's real. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so cliched, but it's they talk about life being 90% how you react to what happens to you, as opposed to what actually happens
Right.
to you.
Exactly.
And your mentality has changed.
I totally agree. Yeah.
So
But I just keep having these experiences. It's only February, and I've already had like 3 or 4 life-changing experiences.
can we go ahead and talk about
like-
a life-changing experience that Vaughn had this weekend that I was a part of, and how much of a rock star he is?
We are going to talk about that as
He
soon
wants
as
to
we
introduce.
introduce Big Thirsty.
There he is.
And then we're going straight back to that because I want to talk about it. Big
All right.
Thirsty, it's great to see you.
It's great to see you guys as well.
Now, you all may proceed
I
in
saw
order that you
I saw
like
all
to.
3 of you this morning at the gym.
Yes.
That just hit me.
I came in late, but yeah.
Got to see Beef and the Rev do 19.1.
One of us did really good.
You did that this morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So-
misread your post on Slack. I thought you did 10 rounds of that shit when you posted like the leader did 10 rounds
Oh,
or whatever.
no.
I was like,
God,
God,
no.
dang. I was like, what, Vaughn's on some crack or something?
No, there is no way I could do that right now.
Yeah.
She told me that, and I was like, God, that's a lot of
I was like, oh my
reps.
God, Vaughn made
Well, I
10
did
rounds.
10 rounds. No, half that.
We're going to come back to that. I want to talk about the Give Camp
Give Camp
this
Memphis.
weekend. Did you start Give Camp?
I did not start Give Camp. I started the Memphis version of it.
Okay. What is Give Camp?
Give Camp is a weekend-long event where we bring tech professionals together to do work for nonprofits.
And there's how many people attending? How many computer programmers are there?
This weekend we had just over 80 volunteers, and those aren't just programmers; those are creative types as well, like designers.
Were there 80 people?
There was Friday night.
Wow. Okay.
We had several logos designed for some of the charities, complete website redesigns for them. We had content writers there helping them write the content for their web pages. We had a marketing person show up that helped create letters for one of the charities, like to send out to potential sponsors, like asking for money and stuff like that, how to word those. This is the first year that the Memphis chapter of AIGA has gotten involved in our event, and so it was simultaneously a Design for Good event, which is same concept as Give Camp, but just focused on design. And they also did like print, like flyers, business cards, and other type of design work for a couple of the charities. So,
are there representatives from the actual charities there, or do they just say kind of here it is?
Nope, they're required to be on site and be available for the teams to answer questions, help be a part of the process. You know, they're clicking away on the keyboard too as much as possible and making things happen. So we did just over 1,000 hours of work for 14 charities this weekend.
Well, I was thinking about that because I was a volunteer and I was trying
not just a volunteer.
I was trying to think about it, and my charity that I primarily worked on, the company that I work for bills like $130 an hour,
right?
For what I do.
Yeah. So based on the ranges of what the different skill sets are, we use the average hourly rate of $75 an hour.
Okay.
There are people that bill out way higher. There are people that bill out
but
lower.
I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, like, these people that are volunteering.
Yeah.
Your charity is getting.
Right. Yeah.
You're not going to be able
upwards
to
of
hire
$100,000.
Well, and so that's always been the biggest challenge. So we started the Memphis version of Give Camp in 2011, and our biggest challenge is convincing the charities that there's no catch. Like, they're expecting us to ask them to write us a check at the end of it or something like that. And it's really hard to make them understand this is all free, that, like, we're all just nerds that like to get together. We're going to be playing with these things anyways this weekend, so we might as well do it for you instead of just, creating a new bogus website for ourselves because we're trying to learn a new thing. So, yeah, I mean, but you're right. I mean, it's easily, we think it's a conservative estimate that we did over $70,000 worth of work this weekend
Wow.
for
Yeah,
nonprofits.
and I mean
and it could easily be over 100,000 based on the level of talent that was in the room. So one of the things that we did, and I want to call out Vaughn for this, is at the end of the event, had all the volunteers stand up and we gave them a big round of applause, and we're like, okay, if you only worked on one project, sit down. And so then there's probably about a dozen, maybe just over a dozen people that are standing up. So that means they worked on 2 or more projects during the weekend. So we give them a bigger round of applause. Okay, if you only worked on 2 projects, sit down. So then we get down to about 7 or 8 people that worked on 3 or more projects. Long story short, Vaughn was one of the last people standing. There were 3 people that worked on 6+ projects this weekend.
All right.
Vaughn, all I had to do was come up and tap him on the shoulder and be like, hey, this team needs help with something. He jumped up, ran over there, and the thing that had been taking the team 2 hours to do, he had done in 5 minutes, and then he went back to what he was working on.
Oh man, I got goosebumps just thinking about being that guy.
It was like the perfect storm. Like, you couldn't put me in a better situation. Like, that's where
because you know that stuff.
Well, I mean, I know that stuff, and I know I just perform well when it's like, figure this thing out.
And that's exactly the thing. Like, so there were a lot of charities that were having to figure out, like, well, what do we want our website to look like, and what do we want this page to be? But at the point somebody says, this is what I want it to look like, Vaughn is the guy to be like, okay, it looks like that now.
It doesn't matter about here to there. Like, I'll figure all that, all the middle stuff out. That's my wheelhouse. I'll just figure out how to get there. You just tell me what you want. And I guess what I saw is that most people were like, I don't know how to do this thing. Like, so then they just kind of switch off, where it's like, I can't I don't know how to do this, so I can't do it. But you tell me how you want it to be, and I'll figure out how to get us there.
Even if he's got to learn, even if he's got to learn something new, and that's what makes Vaughn and so many of our volunteers special is that they, a lot of them were working on technologies that they'd never touched before, but they walked in and they're like, oh, this charity needs help with this, so let me sit down and figure it out. I can use Google. Let me just start Googling stuff. Okay, I'm going to click around. I'm clicking around. Oh, there's the thing I'm looking for. And by the end of the weekend, they're pretty competent at the thing that they've been playing with.
Right, but it was even better than that for me because I already knew all the stuff.
Right.
From the in between in most situations,
because it's the tools that you use professionally
all the time. Yeah.
Well, I looked at the Hoof and Hound Rescue website that you built, and man, it was sharp. It was tight. It was clean. It was good.
Yeah, thank you. I worked really hard on it, and a couple other people worked really hard on it too. And we could have done a lot better had we had. We build websites at work. It takes us like a month.
Right.
You're talking about 48 hours. What we did in that time is amazing.
Do you hard code all of that?
No. We had tools that they had provided. WordPress and
the charities get training afterwards so that they can continue to maintain the sites themselves. So they
nice.
know how to do all the stuff after the fact, and that's why it's important for them to be there and kind of helping build it so that they can kind of see all the tools and be using the tools. So it's not like we're like, all right, goodbye, and then Monday morning they need to go in and edit a web page and they're like, they've been doing it all weekend.
Yeah, I was going to ask if they reached out to you. Did you give them your cell phone number, or is it cut off after that point?
So one of the rules, we use the phrase, what happens at Give Camp stays at Give Camp. And so basically nobody is beholden to each other. The charities aren't beholden to the devs that worked on their project, and the devs aren't beholden to the charity. Give Camp as an organization does continue to support those charities year long. We actually provide free hosting for them. We give them a bunch of free services. And so if at any point they get stuck where they can't edit a web page, or their website goes down, or they need something, they send an email to Give Camp as an organization. And nine times out of 10, using Hoof and Hound as an example, if they had an issue where some page is broken or they needed some change, we would reach out to Vaughn because we know he's the one that worked on the project, and we would say, hey, Vaughn, do you have time to do this? And if he says no, it's fine. He's not responsible for having to work on that. We'll find somebody who's willing to work on the site, still after the weekend's over, if that makes sense. So, and so the charities are generally, really happy with that. And
it's also fun to have the client, the charity in this instance, be there when you're doing the work. You know what I mean? Because
as opposed to just throwing it over the wall like you do at your real job.
Yeah, well, not only that, but if you've ever done any freelance work, people want you to do it for free.
Yeah.
Or they want you to do it for a very cheap price. Build me a website for $100 or whatever it is. But they don't know what goes into that. You know what I mean? But having the person sitting there watching everybody work, I'm sure I never asked anyone, but that has to be an experience where you're like, oh, I didn't realize this is what actually goes into. I just wanted an app, and I thought you would just wave a magic wand and it would work.
That's the way Beefcake thinks it works.
Nobody's waving any wands.
But it was a fantastic weekend. I really enjoyed it.
I walked almost 20 miles this weekend. So me, as one of the organizers, my job is to remove all the roadblocks from the teams to make sure that they can continue working and building awesome things for the nonprofits. And so that's a lot of running around between the teams. We're spread out at the FedEx Institute of Technology at University of Memphis, and so it's just constantly walking around, checking on the team.
Awesome building, by
and
the way.
like, I walk up to Vaughn. Vaughn's like, "Hey, I need this. I got to go find the person that's got that," and then come back to Vaughn. So I walked almost 20 miles between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
You should start a ultra training package for developers and have them, up and moving all the time. Developers aren't, from what I understand, they generally don't.
Stereotypically, we are sedentary people.
Yeah, so you could make them shift around and get them all fit, get them all excited about that.
Well,
how would that go down?
Like a fart in church.
One thing I'll share that I took away from it was before I guess Thursday, I started listening to the James Altucher, is that how you say his name, podcast? Do you know who he is? I think he's a famous guy, but he had this guy on that's written all these leadership books and all this stuff. And he was talking about adding value, right? And like you should just approach everything in your life to how can I add value to this person's experience or whatever you're doing at the time. And so that's what I was thinking going into this event. And I was literally driving there, and I'm a little bit intimidated because this group of guys are super nerds. Like, they're really smart. I mean, they're really cool people, but they're really fucking smart. Like, they're not. It's just a higher level than what I feel like I'm on, you know. And I'm like, so I don't know how I'm going to do it this weekend, but I'm going to figure out how to add some value to wherever I'm sitting in this situation, because all these guys are so smart.
And that's an important mentality to have. Like, so many people think they can't help because the technology that they know isn't available, or they don't know any tech and they're not a programmer. So how can I add value to the weekend? I add value by like running and getting food and buying drinks and emptying the trash cans and and that's how I add value to the weekend.
Exactly. And it doesn't make a difference what it is if you're focused on, okay, what can I do here to make this situation to add something to everybody's experience? You become something that everybody's paying attention to, or you just grow and you just make some growth, right? Or whatever. So it turned out that it just like, holy shit, like 48 hours of adding value to like everybody and experiencing that. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I just loved it. Like,
can you tell he's excited?
I was excited. I was super excited. Like, I wish, I wish I could experience that every day.
Yeah.
And so how do you figure out how to experience that every day? Holy moly. And I think it's just a matter of mindset.
I think it's a mindset. I think you could have that mentality in your job and your relationships and everything that you do. You could figure out how to be that person.
Right.
Anyways.
I agree.
I apologize, Beef, for not inviting you out. I should have called you and said you should come out. I had that epiphany at some point late Saturday and went to grab my phone and then got pulled into something that I had to go do and then never went back and did it. But I think you would have nerded out with us.
I would have loved it. Yeah.
Next year you should come for sure.
I just sat by the phone.
I forgot to tell.
Looking out the window.
I mean, I told Holly I was doing this thing a long time ago, but I didn't really specify that I was going to be gone all weekend. Like, I'm doing this thing this weekend. She's like, oh, okay. Well, when will we be home? And I'm like, 11 o'clock.
Monday.
Yeah. So when we originally did this, it was literally an all day, all night thing. Like the space that we had, we would show up, and you weren't required to be there the whole time, but there were teams that got there at 5 o'clock on Friday and didn't leave until 4 o'clock on Sunday. They brought sleeping bags and everything, and, just hung out there and just worked all weekend long on the project.
Yeah, but they did. I mean, they had food and drinks and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you didn't. It wasn't like
you should have wanted for nothing all weekend long and been able to focus on the project you were working on.
Oh, and my favorite thing that I got in the whole weekend, and I stole about a dozen of them.
Oh, your little notepad from Asher.
Yeah, look, you can write in them, and I used it.
There's paper in there.
I use it so much, like while I'm sitting there working, and I moved around so much that I had. Like I would write things down that I needed to know for the next thing that I was getting up and just rando moving to a different spot that I may or may not take my computer to. So anyway, I just got addicted to it in a weekend. So I just grabbed a whole bunch of them and threw them in my bag.
Awesome. That's awesome.
I'm just going to use these things, and when I get done with them, I'll figure out how to buy some more.
Yeah. Yeah, one of our sponsors gave us those to make sure we had those.
The CrossFit Open.
Yes.
Did you turn in your score, Thirsty?
I didn't do the workout.
Why not?
Didn't have time. I was at Give Camp all weekend.
You had time this morning.
He did.
I
but
did not have time.
He was
this morning.
coaching.
I was coaching this morning.
After we got done with our WOD, you had time.
All right, I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna turn this way.
I'm not gonna give him shit about that at all because I'm gonna tell you I did not want to do it, and the only reason because of what I just felt, I'm like, what did you say this morning? Brian said, I wish I could stick around and do it with you. I should have done it this morning, but man, you were sleeping or something. He said, my head's just spinning.
Yeah.
Because it was such a fantastic weekend.
I had trouble going to sleep last night, shutting off my mind.
And I was like, oh my God.
My intention last night was to get up early this morning, get to the gym before 5 a.m. and do the workout before anybody else showed up. But the alarm went off, and I was like, no, I cannot get up yet. And I wouldn't have coached this morning if
I was
I
just
absolutely
sleeping
had
so
to.
good. And then the night before I just emailed work. I had a thing I had to do for work that had to be done at 9:30. And so Sunday, when I got home, Sunday night, I was like, I'm just going to do this right now. So I went ahead and did it and sent an email off and said, this project's done. I'm not going to be at work until 10 o'clock. And then I'm just going to sleep as late as I can. And then like at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm like,
And then he walks into the gym at 6:30.
I wake up and I'm like, I can't skip. I can't skip the first week of the Open. Like, I mean, I can fake an injury later, but I can't do it. I can't skip now. So I just got up and, I did sleep a little later and came in about 6:30 and did it. But anyway, I would totally not have done that had it not been for I created this leaderboard on the, what am I going to bounce out of the first week?
Yeah, that would have been bad. That would have been bad because you didn't finish last year.
No. I don't think I finished the last couple of years.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you think about the workout?
I was surprised at how easy it was.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
easy's not a good word.
I have coughed all day long. Like I feel like somebody
Well, you
took
busted your ass.
Well, you did really well. Like, I mean, you worked really hard at it. I was like, whoa. Well, I'll take my 219 and move on to another week. But the dumbbells, there were no dumbbells, which I was like, God, I was so tired of dumbbells for the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, they did wear out the dumbbells.
Like, it was just a workout that anybody could do.
Yeah, that's true. I thought it was cool in the fact that it was a workout that anybody could do. I saw somebody, talking about how unoriginal or whatever, and it's like it's all really unoriginal if you.
This is what I love.
This was great.
The first Open that I was in, it was all like power snatches and double unders, like that, and I loved it.
Like 2012, I think 12.1 is like 7 minutes of burpees. Like how unoriginal.
I hate that. Yeah.
I mean, this is no different than any of that. I mean,
I don't like the stuff that they've been doing the last couple of years. That's why I quit. Like before the end, I'm like, screw this, man. These dumbbells are like, I can't even snatch these 50-pound dumbbells anymore.
Well, I like the dumbbells because the dumbbells generally mean it's going to be upper body.
I saw you getting your bro session on after the workout this morning. He was wishing we had some mirrors in the West Wing because he was doing his arm. He was staring at the wall. There wasn't a mirror there, but he was just staring at the wall while he was doing his arm curls.
I'm going to buy one and donate it as myself. This was donated by Wilson Horrell. And
one mirror?
Just one mirror.
It's got to be.
He's going to donate the mirror, and it's going to have a plaque on it, donated by Wilson Horrell.
Right. And it's going to look like it's in honor
not a bad
of.
idea.
Yeah.
Donated by the Horrells.
I'm all about a mirror. Yeah, the bro session didn't go very well.
What did you get on your Open score this morning?
200 and. Do you remember what it was? 200.
I was going to say 87.
Like 47?
247.
I think it's 247.
257.
Good enough to put you in spot number
255.
Spot number 1 on the lift heavy run long
Look
leaderboard.
at you, badass. I got 205.
Well, I mean,
I was happy with it.
As the head of this circus we call lift heavy run long,
you have an obligation.
You have an obligation to be number 1 on the leaderboard.
No, I don't either. Don't pass me that torch. I don't need that kind of pressure.
Next week, muscle ups.
Yeah, we'll see how the rest of it goes. But it's fun, man. I like the Open. But,
I mean, I wonder if the rest of the weeks are going to be like that. Are the rest of the weeks going to be Well, are they? Is it going to be like?
Like, is this a pattern?
things
Is it
people can do?
doable?
Yeah, like are
Or-
we going to like have to scale more, or is it going to be stuff we can all do?
Well, Dustin said that he thought it would be more big time heavyweight.
Okay.
And I don't know that it's going to be probably one or the other, but I don't know. They seem to be catering more towards more towards like old men who are locked in their basement. But, if they're going towards that demographic, then they may be more, for that everybody.
Yeah,
can do,
I mean,
to where
well,
there
it
is not a
doesn't-
scaled.
It doesn't quite have as much to do with the games anymore, does it?
No.
I mean,
Well,
No,
I mean,
it
no,
doesn't
this
have
is still the
anything.
lead into the games.
It is?
Yeah.
It is, but
How does
If-
it work? How do you
If
get?
you're number one in the U.S., you get to go to the games.
Yep.
but
Oh.
not like the top
No, number one.
50
Yeah,
people.
Number
No,
one
you
in
have
the
to be
U.S.
number
gets
one.
number one in
Right.
each country gets to go to
Yeah,
the games.
but that's what I mean. So it's not so much geared towards, like
Well,
I
no,
feel
no,
like the last few
I
years it's
understand
been-
what you're saying.
it's-
Yeah,
I feel like it's been getting ramped up
it's less of a
year
focus.
to year to
It's-
where it's like harder and harder and harder to do well to weed out.
And see, I like workouts like this where, and I'm going to make up a number, 80% of the field doesn't have to scale it, but like the number of reps is going to be where people set each other, set apart. Like there's going to be somebody that has, 1,000 reps or whatever ridiculous number you can come up with. And, but there's also a guy that can only do 100 reps, in the 15 minutes, but they didn't have to scale it,
Well, I like this stuff because it's what I like is to compete with everybody on my level. Like if Wilson and I were to go out and run a mile, I'd beat him.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I mean? I know this, but I didn't know that I would lose to him on this one.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like now it's like, I wonder where he'll end up, and now I wonder if he'll beat me in the Open. Not that he's lower than me or
But
anything
that's
like
CrossFit.
that. But that's exactly right in the wheelhouse of what I think of CrossFit. Like anybody can. You just never know.
Yeah.
Like next
Oh, yeah.
weekend we'll have 3 minutes of double unders, and then I'll win.
Right. Right.
And I'll be like, oh well.
I hope not. My jump rope's broke.
You just don't. You
I hope
just
not
don't
my double
know.
under is broke.
Anyway, I think what I'm trying to say is I hope that's the way it goes for the rest of the Open. Like stuff just like this.
Well, and it typically does, doesn't it? I mean, I feel like that the Open is
But I
full
feel-
of just yeses and nos.
Yeah, but I feel like whatever we think we know about the Open is out the window. Like I feel like they are changing it up this year. And you've seen all of the grids that people do about like what movements show up in which workout
Uh-huh.
in each Open, and like what the
Those are out the door.
statistic is that this is going to show up eventually, and all that. Yeah, I think all that's out the window.
Is Castro still building the workouts?
I don't know the answer.
I don't think anyone knows. They say that he is, but I don't know that anyone knows for sure.
The best part of the Open so far was whoever came up with the meme that had Castro doing the announcement, and it said, and 19.1 is the rest of you are fired.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Everybody else is laid off. Oh, man.
that's crazy.
Well, we'll see. It's a fun time. Amanda, your nutrition,
Yeah, I'm on point right now.
you were on point.
Sillamore was an eye opener.
Yeah.
It's the heaviest I've
and-
ever ran. Sillamore was not good.
Okay.
My mindset wasn't good on the first 15 miles, and plus my weight did not help anything. It's the heaviest I've been in a long time running. So when I got finished with that race, it was like I got to do something. So I've lost 6 pounds since Sillamore
Okay.
with my nutrition.
What is that, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks?
Almost.
Yep. Elijah Landon did the does that weigh-in Wednesday, and I decided I got to get the courage up to get on the scale. Like I've just been, part of me's just been like, I don't really care that much. I just want to get really strong. And the other side's like, I got to do something about this weight. And so I got on, and I was like 258 and a half. And I've dropped a little over 5 pounds since then. But the good part about that was I was getting on the scale like 2 days after the Sillamore. So all that water weight was on
yeah.
there. So you can, you're going to be good for a few pounds of water weight. But I'll take it.
My daughter Murphy took the batteries out of the scale. She was playing with it, and I don't know where they are, so I don't have any more batteries. So I haven't been on the scale in
Then you can just eat whatever you want.
Yeah, so I'm free, baby.
It's
There
helped
are no
though.
chains on me.
Everybody says don't get on the scale, don't get on the scale. Well, it helps to, even if it's like 0.2 pounds. I have a chart, and just every day I write down my calendar at work. Just to see it drop is just enough to keep me like, all right, I'm losing. Keep going, keep going. So
There's something to that. I mean, people say don't worry about it, and don't get on the scale, and it doesn't matter, but it does. I mean, if you're fat and you're trying to lose weight,
the scale's important.
The scale matters.
Yeah,
man. Like,
it sure does.
I think there's a point where when you've reached some level of fitness that the weight itself doesn't matter because of the whole muscle versus fat and all that kind of stuff. But it at least lets you see on a day-to-day basis, regardless of what the number is, if it went up 2 pounds, if it went down a pound, whatever, it just lets you see how the previous day affected you. And that's all you care about. Just looking at the change from the previous day to know how the previous day affected you so that you can be like, well, crap, I did eat like crap yesterday, and that's why the number went up, so I need to recorrect it, regardless of what the number is.
And then there's a thing where you'll be like, you'll be at a restaurant or something or whatever and have a choice to make about whether I'm going to eat a cheeseburger or a salad. You're like, oh man, I weighed this morning and I got to weigh tomorrow. You know that's coming.
Exactly.
That can be a psychological thing where you're like, okay, just give me the salad and the water.
That's
really
the point
is.
that I was going to try to make, is that I've been thinking about weigh-in Wednesday because I would like to be able to say, there's this.
Well, there's
progress.
that, and that's even better because it's not just you. It's like a whole slew of 10,000 people. You're making a comment about how much you weigh tomorrow, so you have to kind of try to be on point anyway.
So it's beneficial in that way. But I mean, I get where it's not a good idea to look at a scale, but also it is a great determinant. And
don't obsess over it.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I'm going to step onto the scale with the jar of peanut butter.
You might as well. I mean, it's coming with me anyway.
And then eat it all.
Before I go to bed, me and this peanut butter are going to the same place. So we're just going to walk to the scale together and see how that works. Because on top of trying to drop a few pounds, Amanda got me like a ton of Moose Crunch for.
It was supposed to be timed for like Sillamore,
Sure.
to kind of eat it, but it didn't come in time.
Is that bad stuff to eat or what?
Oh, it's great.
It's like chocolate covered popcorn.
It's so good.
From Harry
It's
David's.
unbelievably good.
Whew, that sounds incredible.
I realized we took 2 bags of cowboy bark, which is, like chocolate brittle, with all sorts of nuts and other stuff mixed into it. We took 2 bags to Sillamore and didn't open either one of them.
Really? Were you trying to hide them?
No.
I didn't see it laying out there.
You
So
still
I think they never got out of the truck.
Oh,
hid
man.
them on purpose.
We meant to eat some of it like on the drive up and never even opened it.
Well, they made it home is what I was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're back and I still haven't opened them. Here we are 2 weeks later and I still haven't opened it. Like, I don't know. And I love that stuff. Like, that stuff usually doesn't last very long, but anyways.
Yeah, we got Fall Creek Falls coming up, so I need to, even just 10 pounds lighter would be great.
10 pounds a lot. That makes a big difference when running a race.
Oh my gosh, doesn't it?
If they get the trails back open.
think
Oh,
they're gonna
that's what
water?
your post. I saw your post, and I just figured that was just a Chattanooga thing. I didn't pay close enough
No, they
attention
have
to
the
it to
trails
realize
closed.
that was.
They have it back open, but still the only entrance into it is the fire road, the that gravel road that we
Right,
run
right,
down.
right.
So I'm not sure. They said only SUVs can make it up that road.
Did you guys see the video from Fort Pillow?
I think I did.
I don't think so.
Like Fort Pillow, there were some areas that you literally almost had to swim through.
Like
and,
Gavin? Gavin's
yeah,
video where he was
yeah.
running through
Yeah,
there?
yeah. And there's some areas
Literal
where
waist high.
literally waist
chest
high.
high.
Yeah, like you couldn't see the trail. Like a friend of mine posted a video, and you can see where the creek used to be, and like a footbridge that goes over it, and the footbridge is underwater. Like all you can see is the hand railing coming up out of the water. Like that's the only reason why you know where you're going.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
So, and then Sean and Brian did Love It 100K,
Yeah.
and they were in a torrential downpour. Saw some pictures posted of them of at least calf high, if not higher, water that they were going through.
They did great.
Which is totally Brian's element.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Sean's too.
I'm sure.
The worst
they
it could possibly
Yeah,
be.
just as bad as it can possibly be.
with
is
his little
the better.
Ozarka water bottle running down.
Well, and just shout out to Brian's wife, Lori, because she's
working hard, I'm
She's an
sure.
awesome crew chief, and she's going to get them back out there regardless of whether they want to go or not, and keep them moving. So,
Is trail running about to stop? About to get too hot? When
For
does
me,
it get
yeah.
too hot to trail run?
I mean, I feel like it depends on what area of the country you're in, but for us,
when's Watchtower?
Wichita is in April. I feel like April is probably the
Borderline.
Yeah.
end, but I mean, there's a stage race in Chattanooga that I've wanted to do for years and years and years. That's in June on my birthday,
Woo!
around June 13th, and you like run 20 miles every day for 3 days on all 3 mountains.
Oh, Lookout Mountain, Raccoon Mountain, and Signal Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I can't think of what the race is called.
I can't either.
But it would be
Yeah.
fun to try to do it. But man, it's in the middle of the summer. I don't even know if it gets hot in Chattanooga. I'm just thinking
I
like,
guess hot as fucking Chattanooga.
Well, you
All
know,
that humidity, man.
you're wondering if it's hot, and I'm thinking like even on a good running day for me, I couldn't keep the paces that are required to run that race.
That is a tight paced.
That it's like you
Yes.
got to be able to maintain like a 12 or 13 minute mile.
Yeah, or they will kick
to
you
meet
off.
meet all the cutoffs.
Yep.
for 18 to 20 miles.
So I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, I want
For
to
all-
do that, and then I saw the time cost.
For 3 days in a row with the elevation change and everything else that goes
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it, like it's
It'd be fun to try it. I mean, I've seen
sure.
pictures. People are
You could probably
at
do it.
the end of the race. They get in these big ice buckets and all this other stuff.
well, it's just like us doing Dopey Challenge. You just got to prioritize recovery each day.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't imagine running 20 miles.
Sean Hillsden said ankle deep, and he started laughing. He said we crossed more hip high Class 3 rapids than I could even count.
Wow. Speaking of 3 days of, you mentioned doing a 3-day deal. I was thinking about the LHRL experience.
Yes.
How
AKA the Fire Festival.
how difficult would it be? I was thinking about what it would look like if we actually moved forward with it at some point. How difficult would it be to have if we had a nice place with a good 2, 3 or 4 mile trail loop and had like 3 pull-up rigs and 3 barbells and 3 assault bikes, and then had various movements that each movement we calculated how much each one was going to be worth. And so that way, if you wanted to get on an assault bike and do X amount of calories would count for X amount of miles, X amount of pull-ups would count for X amount of miles, and X amount of deadlifts or whatever movement based on your weight would count on for however many points, and just figure out how to kind of gamerize a weekend like that.
So
Yep.
everybody could go. Everybody could go to their wheelhouse, but still have fun that weekend.
Well,
get points
Yeah,
for
but it would
whatever.
be a long weekend, so it would be like visiting and hanging out. You know,
Yeah.
kind of like
Well,
the.
it's that's really what we did when we did the faction games at Shelby
it?
at Shelby Farms. We loaded up the rig inside the gym and brought it to Shelby Farms. And we had the Rogue rig out at Shelby Farms along with barbells in the parking lot. We had a 5K that weekend where dude brought in some big hay bales and we had a 5K run. So it's a similar thing. The format is different where it's not like
We just got to go find like a lodge that we can take over for an entire 3-day weekend, like where they give us all the rooms.
And then what about the technology
Right.
involved that could make it to where you had a wristband or an ankle bracelet of some sort and something that you could punch in or check in to keep your
I think
running
that's
score?
something you let somebody else figure out, or we figure out that's not
That technology exists. You just have to
Yeah.
decide what you're trying to accomplish, and then
there's somebody, there's
That's
a
not
company.
that's not the limiter, is what I'm saying. The limiter is like Brian was saying. Where would you do this thing? Like that big house in Arkansas with the big red roof. Like, where are you going to put this on that you have the.
You think they rent out the Biltmore to us? Well, you just
that
use
red
the
house.
entire.
What is that place? Is that
It's somebody's
house?
resident. It's somebody's
Okay.
summer home.
Okay.
Katie drove up there
Okay, I was gonna
that
ask
weekend,
this
and
time, and I didn't.
because I pointed it out to her, and she's like, "Is that like a summer lodge or what is that?" And I don't know if she drove near it or something, or did something and figured out that it's definitely like a private residence.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Sorry. I
Yeah,
mean,
so you
sidetrack.
would just need a place that you could go that had plenty of room and space and places for people to stay and that kind of thing.
Well, and see, I would want to keep it super intimate. I would want it to keep it down to like 20 people or less.
Well,
That's
then
been my
there's-
problem the whole time, is that I've gone.
It could easily be 1,000 plus people,
That's
but
what
I
I've
would
gone.
much rather
here's
it
the
be
thing.
like a 20-person thing.
Here's what we should do. You should start with let's start with the smaller group of people. Let's say 20 to 30 people, right? And then we talk to Mark Diaz, we'll call him out, and he's got the mansion in Mississippi. And so he's got a CrossFit gym now in the garage of that mansion.
Oh, nice.
So we could take 20 to 30 people, X amount of dollars a person, go out and do it there, map out like a mile run, bring some assault bikes and stuff like that. And then we got a retreat for a weekend, try it out for like a Friday and Saturday night and see how that goes.
My hang up has been the fact that I go straight to 1,000 people instead of, why don't we try to see how this
and I'm
goes
gonna
down?
tell you, like, if we were talking through this, like the planning of this, what I would do is like the four of us plus like 2 or 3 people that are not us, going and doing it, and then like testing out everything, like the logistics of getting equipment there and all the different stuff that we'd want to do.
They did that with fire too.
And then once,
I don't know. I mean, I think that would be a good idea, but I think starting with like 20, like more than that, like, because I think we could pull together like 20 to 30 people that would want to do.
we could get 1,000 people that would want
I
to
know
come
we
and do
could,
this.
but I mean, we could get 20 to 30 people that wouldn't care if we messed something up.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like okay, we could find those people that would pay for the event, but also wouldn't get too upset if like their time wasn't as.
But
They-
if the
they- they would-
planning goes good, can we go ahead and do 1,000 people?
Oh my god.
Can we paper rock scissors?
No.
We could definitely bring 1,000 people to a thing like that, but I definitely think, starting.
Looks like the
with-
7
it-
people watching want first dibs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, we're sitting here talking about getting 1,000. We could definitely get 1,000 people. There's 7 people watching this shit show.
You know what we ought to do is
I don't know.
what we ought to do is take it like to the Ragnar Trail type experience where we go to like a park and we offer glamping.
What about the Kimsey Farm?
There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
That's what. So Ragnar will. You can pay as a team to have an entire tent set up. Like it's got all the beds in it. It's got everything you need. It's like an additional like $600 or something like that.
Totally
And,
worth it in my eyes.
Well, yeah, not that
sure.
set up and break down and everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, and some of the tents are like air conditioned, and you get separate porta potties from the rest of the.
Sean Hilston
Group.
is fuming right now listening to this. As an Eagle Scout, this goes beyond his ethics.
Glamping.
But
He
no,
doesn't
no.
even like Kroger Click List.
He just
My
goes-
point is
He
my
wants to
point
make his
is
own
we
groceries.
could also go the opposite direction of like the lodge idea, where we do a camping experience, and everybody's just kind of hanging out. Like we just go into a park somewhere, like a Shelby Farms, and we set up 20 or 30 tents.
Big Hill Pond.
Yeah, somewhere like that. And we've got the running stuff. We bring in the rigs that we need for the workout equipment, and there's a lot of different ways that we could do this.
Set up a couple thousand tents
Couple thousand tents.
to see who shows. Have it catered.
Yeah.
Rent a helicopter. I'll jump out of it.
Yeah. So back to Give Camp for a second because it relates to this. The logistics of getting stuff together, like food and stuff for people,
Dude,
and
I
getting
can't
it
do
there
it.
at the right time, that's more of a headache than you
Oh, I
realize.
thought- you jumped out of the
no, it's not.
helicopter.
It's not more of a headache than I realize at all. And that's my limiter. It really, to me, it's all just a pipe dream, because planning anything, I don't want to do it. I don't want to plan.
Yeah, you want
anything at
an
all.
1,000 people event that says LHRL on it, but you don't
But I
want
don't
to be
want to.
involved.
That's right. The same way that
I think the planning would be fun. That'd be the fun part.
I want a garden and I want vegetables out of it, but I don't want to pull the weeds and have to tend to it. No.
understand.
But we have people that will. I mean, we got Brenda.
It's. I think it's a matter of having the money to do it. You know, like
Steve?
if you think people would pay for it, you know, how much are people going to pay for this thing, and how many people do you have? 1,000 people paying $100, right?
Yeah.
1,000 people paying.
No, they're gonna. If they want to hang out with the four of us, we're gonna
You know.
charge a lot more than that.
20 people paying $500 a piece. Oh goodness. It's fun to think about for sure.
Back to reality.
That's a song.
F3, my boys from F3. Did y'all see their write-up in Runner's World?
I didn't get a chance to read the article yet,
Man,
but
they're
I did
right.
see
They were in Runner's World. They were on some kind of television station, I think a national news station, and then they were in Fitness Magazine or whatever.
Wow.
Nice.
They're doing good, man.
Steve Wilkes said he volunteers as tribute.
He volunteers as what?
As tribute.
What does that mean?
That's
It's off that movie,
Hunger
Yeah,
Games.
Hunger Games.
It's a Hunger Games reference. They're talking about camping and the LHRL experience. He volunteers as
Like, I'm
tribute.
gonna
Never
volunteer as
mind.
tribute.
What's the saying that they
I don't
say
even
in that?
know. I haven't seen that. I don't guess.
You haven't?
It's like the show where they get kicked off the island.
No, Hunger Games is.
Hunger Games is a movie.
It's,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
it's
yeah,
like
okay.
two or three movies.
3 movies.
Yeah, it's really good. You
It's
should
the one
watch
where the
it.
girl shoots the arrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We can have Steve make the announcement, may the odds be forever in your
Yeah.
In your
favor.
favor.
What time is it?
Wilson trying to figure out his.
Something wrong with your phone over there?
It's time for
Hypotheticals. It's not hard, it's super easy. Hypotheticals. It's so fun and it's oh so cheesy. Hypotheticals. To your cousin Ben and your best friend Wheezy.
It's time for
Hypotheticals.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time for our favorite segment of the show.
It is brought to you by Ted Horrell and the Monday Night Card. TedHorrellmusic.com. Hypotheticals. Who's going first? Who wants it?
I'll do
Who
it.
wants it the most?
I'll do it.
That's what they used to ask us in football. Who wants it the most?
I don't really want it at all, but
You're
I'll
going to
do
get it. Here it comes. Would you allow a stranger to die if it meant another 20 years added to your life?
Oh, there's a movie kind of like that. Well, kind of. Sorry.
There, the button. Was it the button?
Yeah. Oh, the box or the button?
The box.
I think it's the box.
We
Oh,
talked
that's
about
a
the-
good.
My answer-
that's a
my
good-
answer
we
is no.
talked about
this on the podcast.
Yes.
There's
We
a-
did.
Probably when I watched that movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
My answer is no.
Hold on. So you would not.
I would not
you
let
would
them
save the
die for
stranger.
20 years additional on my life.
Additional past what I would already live. So if I was going to live to be 100, I'd live to be 120.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll save the guy.
Nah, I don't want to live that long.
That's true.
I'd rather just crap out and go.
Yeah. I've already lived like 20 years longer than I thought that I would.
Did you let somebody die?
For sure.
Is that why you're asking the question?
You know, there was a point around my 25th birthday that my mom looked at me and seriously told me that she was surprised I lived past 18.
Really? Were you a
I
problem child?
I was such a problem child. She
No
thought-
kidding. That surprises me.
She thought that I was going to end up like drugs, alcohol, or something, and
Look
just
at you
going way
now.
off the deep end. And anyways, I thought that was funny.
Big thirsty.
Big thirsty. We're glad you made it.
I appreciate that.
Well, we wouldn't have a camera guy.
That's
awful.
it. That's all.
I didn't mean it like
Working
that.
the camera.
It's all good, brother.
I did not mean it like that. Now I feel bad. I'm going to stop and give you a hug. All right. Because I'm going to make it up to you by letting you go first again. Even though I just let you go first, didn't I?
Well, I kind of went first because they were laughing and trying to figure out what the movie was.
It's because you want it most.
I did want it
Vaughn
most.
said that he wanted it, but he didn't.
Well, he
I
said
took-
he
you
didn't say he
have
wanted
it.
it most.
He thought that he did.
He said,
Sometimes you just never know. Thirsty, step it up. Would you rather travel for the rest of your life, only staying in one place for maximum 3 months, or never leave your home state again?
I would rather travel.
me too.
All the time.
Travel all the time, yes.
There is actually a organization that if you have a job that allows remote working, it's called a remote year, and you sign up and you travel for a year with like 20 or 30 people. They set up all the places you stay. Some of your meals are pre-planned, but like it's all inclusive.
Oh, man.
What? It's a
Yeah.
I
job?
want to do that.
It's not a job. It's something you do. Like
can
you
travel.
you have a job, but they basically find all these places for you to stay. You'll stay in like hostels and hotels
Do
or
you have to pay
Airbnbs.
for it? Or,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to say.
Yeah, you
it-
also have to be inherently wealthy. So there's that.
Right.
I mean, but
It sounded like
it
was
would
an
be very
experiment or
cool.
something.
It would be very cool because I want to say I looked at it, and don't quote me on the number, but it was something like $20,000 or $30,000. But to be able to travel for
all
a year,
Yeah, hell yeah.
and to have
Yeah.
like everything basically taken care of for a year, and
Yeah.
all you had to do, you had to work 8 hours a day. But then beyond that, you're waking up in a new city, every couple of days,
That's awesome.
and trying all this different food and stuff. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I would love
The
to travel all
logistics
the
of that
time.
have to be a nightmare.
Not my problem.
I know, but
You
what
just
if
sign
That's
up.
what you're paying for.
Well, what if it is what if you're working your 8 hours and all of a sudden you have a fire at work and you can't? Everybody.
Well,
it sounds,
it would,
Well,
you
there's
would have
always
to
that
you would have
risk.
to have the type of job that all of your stuff can be done remotely.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's what I mean. Like I can't leave or I can't get on the bus and go. I need internet access. You would have to. You would have to have.
So let's just
24/7.
assume that if this is a remote working type gig, that they are going to ensure you have internet access wherever you're at.
even when you're traveling.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's always a concern that like everything's going to blow up. So whether you take that job or not, like everything can catch on fire. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah.
Who wants it? Who wants it most?
Me.
Okay, that's that way. Give me a high five. That's good work. That's my girl. Would you rather live for another 60 years but not be able to leave your house ever again, or live for 10 more years and be free to go wherever you wanted?
10 years and be free.
That's it.
I would not want to be stuck in the house for, 6 years?
Yep.
Nope.
The introvert over there is considering it.
I'm a homebody. I'm a total homebody. I'd stay at my house.
Would you really? Would you stay in your house for 60 years?
Yeah.
I don't think I would choose that. I think I could do it if it was chosen for me.
I mean,
I wouldn't
could.
choose. I wouldn't choose
10
to stay in my
years
house
is
for
not-
60 years.
I don't know. I'm saying
I think
that.
I could make it. I think I could make it work if somebody said, like, if I was paralyzed, or some reason that I was just never allowed to leave home again.
Paralyzed
I think I
people
could
are
make it
allowed to
work.
leave their houses.
Well, I know. I'm sorry. Bad example.
You're like the
I see him all the time.
glass. If you're like the glass guy, you can't go.
Oh, the
anywhere.
bubble guy.
Yeah, like for whatever reason,
boy in
if
the
somebody
bubble?
said
Yeah.
like you can't ever
You
leave your
can't ever
house
leave your
again, I
house.
think I could make it work and not
I
go
don't know.
insane.
I think I would choose the 60 years. 10 years is not very long.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but then you get to go to a better place after that.
Well, see, that's
Yeah,
where
there's
faith
that.
has that confidence, and
But you need to come back and report.
What I say to Jesus?
Yeah. Let me know how it is.
Okay.
Let me know what his plans are for me.
And then he can make his decision
Okay.
whether he wants to stick around for 60 years or not.
You got to go holler at Paul. Let me know what's up. Would you rather know all of the languages in the world or know how to play all the instruments?
Ooh, all the instruments. That's a
no,
no-brainer.
that's a hard one.
I think I would rather know all the languages because I like to talk to people and learn about people and stuff
Yeah,
like
me too.
that. So-
I would rather play the instruments because music is the universal,
Is universal language. Oh,
Wah,
that's
wah,
hard.
wah.
I don't
Vaughn
know.
would rather know how to play all the instruments and never leave his house
Never leave his house
and never have to talk
and never
to
have to
anybody.
talk to anybody ever again.
in his
That's right.
universal language.
I don't speak your language. I don't have to speak to anybody. I don't have to leave.
What
and I
did you
can
say?
just play music all day. Yes, you got me.
What about you?
I don't know. That's so hard.
That is a hard one.
Because I love different languages.
That's one of your
and
better
learning
ones right there,
those.
buddy.
And I love playing
Thank
different
you.
instruments.
I worked hard pulling it off the internet.
Speaking of which, I have a big handbell thing next weekend.
Yeah, you do.
All day Saturday. All the local churches, all the handbell choirs are coming together to Mullins
Is that a
United Methodist Church.
handbell off?
It's a ring off.
Like a rip off? Yeah, ring off.
America's got handbells.
No, but everybody gets together with. No, we all get together and play the same music, so it's like a big old handbell choir.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna play it all together. It'll be fun. Y'all making fun of me. I don't know what I want to do. I like
Big
playing
fights
instruments.
break out,
and I
man.
like-
Super competitive. Like, oh,
Who stole my bell?
it's like it's like the video for Beat It.
Somebody dinged my bell.
Hey, speaking of foreign languages, I saw something a long time ago, and it was some like super tech guy who was famous for predicting like tech future stuff.
Okay.
What was going to happen. And they asked him kind of what his thought was for what was the next big thing. Of course, this is
How recently?
This has been probably 5 years ago.
Okay.
But he was saying in our lifetime, he felt like that people would be able to ingest knowledge. Like, you want to learn to speak Spanish, you can take a pill for that.
No,
The doctor has spoken.
that's
No.
dumb.
Okay.
I
brought it up.
I feel like we are learning enough about the human body that if we figure out how memories are stored, that then we will definitely be able. Now, I don't know how close that technology
There's so
is.
much brain that we don't use that if they can unlock that part of science to figure out how to unlock our brains to
The
use more of
answer
our
is
brain power.
in amphetamines and acid. Somewhere.
And cocaine.
Yeah.
I've seen some cocaine people do some crazy things.
Yeah.
I think the other
Because
thing
they
a lot
reach
kind
a
of
different part of their brain.
to Amanda's point though.
Cocaine.
I think the more likely thing is for us to figure out how to unlock the other parts of our brain so that we learn much faster,
Yeah.
as opposed to ingesting it. But I that doesn't seem far
That
fetched
goes
to
to
me.
the digestive
ingesting.
system, and the acids all like break up all the enzymes and amino acids. So I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Mushrooms.
Okay.
Yes.
Mushrooms will do it,
all
too.
They say it's
all the medicine you take breaks down in your stomach too.
It goes through your liver and goes through.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't think the knowledge could too.
I've taken some
I don't
stuff
think so
that
because
has
it doesn't
really
go to your
helped my
brain. Well, it goes to your blood-brain barrier. I guess you could pass
Yeah.
your blood-brain barrier and obtain some knowledge.
Guess what we have?
He just totally
A
cut me
review.
off.
We got a review.
No more time.
We have both of those, but we have a review, and I'm going to read it. Y'all want to guess how many stars are on it?
5.
3.
5
Some-
of them.
Oh, come on.
Somebody last week while we were recording
Yes.
said all we needed to do was refresh and we had another 5-star
Yeah, I
review.
saw that.
Yes, who was that?
I don't remember.
It was MacMain25,
Okay.
Okay.
but I don't know who that is.
Neither do
This millennial loves this podcast. 5 stars. Just started listening a few weeks ago. Really like the variety of people on the shows from all walks of life and levels of fitness. Authentic and insatiably entertaining. How you like that? Insatiably
Insatiable.
entertaining.
That was
That's
a
some
hell of a
good.
review.
That's some good
I
stuff.
think
That's a big word.
Millennials got a bad rap.
Yeah, they do.
Did you call out
Because-
millennials last week? Maybe that was what it
I
was
don't think I
about.
did. Did I? I don't think I would have done that. If I did, it was probably a joke.
Sean Hilston specifically mentioned millennials.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Well, I'm going to tell you, all the ones that I've encountered, they're really cool people and very hard workers. And
Not me.
I work with a bunch of, maybe it's just my,
People like to lump people and just put them in categories.
But I'm
Yeah.
considered. You know, we looked up millennials one year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And some of the definitions of millennials, I'm a millennial, which
I'm not.
hurts my soul a little bit.
I land squarely in the Generation X.
But I'm either Generation X or millennial, depending on what time frame you're looking at.
Huh.
I don't like to be grouped as a millennial.
Lift heavy, run long
136.
is in the books.
Boom.
Man,